The Diablo 4 campfire just happened. Are you ready to listen to a bunch of people who do not play their own game, have failed more than 5 times in a row, and still have not gotten fired for some inexplicable reason? For people who care more about gender politics than actually making a good game, and how they are gonna promise that the future is bright and good ahead? Well, I know I'm sure ready for that, so let's see the lies.
Diablo 4 just had their campfire chat and they broke down a number of things. They also showed some Gauntlet gameplay, talked about what the rewards will.
Oh boy, the Gauntlet. The thing that is supposed to be for hardcore players put in for some reason in the explicitly game built for 40-year-old dads with 15 wives, 10 children, and 5 seconds a day to actually play the game that they want before they need to go back to the coal mine. Yeah, I'm sure they're going to be excited about the Gauntlet.
Be some of the buffs. Also mentioned some big announcements coming up for Season 4, so let's get going. Okay, the first thing you're going to want to know about this is the Gauntlet. Effectively, the Gauntlet is a system of rooms. It's a static map, which will have shrines, has chests that you can unlock from finding a key, from killing one of the monsters on the map. Everything you kill will give you a...
Let me guess. Oh, I'm in front of DM, sorry. Let me guess. Let me just make a prediction here. When that key drops, we need to pick it up manually. That's gonna be my prediction. It's gonna be like cinders. It's gonna be like every garbage thing that drops in this game on the ground, and you need to go over it to pick it up because, you know, default picking up is impossible. Obviously. It's gonna be beautiful. I'm sure it's not gonna be frustrating at all.
Score. You have 8 minutes to get the highest score you can. That score will go on the leaderboard. The top people on the leaderboard basically get embalmed for all time at the top of the leaderboard and sort of their overall era, so you can see the very best of.
Embalmment is the process when they make a person into a mummy.
All time, and this is just very standard leaderboard stuff. In terms of the actual gameplay, what it looks like, you're basically just blasting through and killing as many minions as you can. You can reset how many minions are there by picking up these shrines that basically respawn the minions, and a lot of it is going to come down to your strategy of killing it. They showed 3 different runs, 8 minutes each run, of Necromancer, Sorceress, as well as a Barbarian when they were doing these runs, and it looked all right. If you're wondering my opinion on the Gauntlet, I think that the Gauntlet probably won't bring people back that quit the game at like level 50 or something like that, but the people that are still playing Diablo 4 will enjoy it. It looks like a sort of...
I'm not even sure I think that this is real gameplay. Has he even taken a single point of damage? It looks like his HP is static. Oh no, it goes a little bit up here, I think.
Fun arcade mini game on the side attached to a leaderboard. I didn't hate it that much. Most of the people in my chat didn't really seem to find it that exciting, but that is sort of the Gauntlet, and this is the gameplay associated with it. Now, you might be wondering about the rewards. It didn't look like Uber Uniques were...
And if you're asking, wait, do you think Diablo 4 would fake their gameplay? Yes. Yes, 100% yes. Okay? The first time they tried to give us some gameplay, we had 2 dungeon designers come up and talk about how they are, the point is, they were supposed to talk about dungeon, the game, and whatnot, and they got given fresh level 50 characters that they had never used, without anything, and they went into a dungeon, a world tier 1 difficulty, and they only used the fabled left click. And whenever they accidentally used the right click, you could see palpable fear in them because they literally have no idea what game they're playing. They probably had never even played a game before that, and these are the people who are designing your dungeons. But instead of designing dungeons, they are probably mostly talking about how great it is to be LGB blah 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 something, okay? Because that's what you got from that, okay? And the second one, I'm pretty sure they just... it was someone playing a ball lightning sorcerer's build, and she was showcasing something about something, And I'm pretty sure they just copied some random level 100 guy's account, and then he played it because it didn't seem like he understands what he's doing also. It was better, but it still kind of seemed, yeah, this is like kind of awkward, and is this real gameplay? So, is this real gameplay? I don't know.
Part of the rewards, but they did mention 925 gear with a very good chance to basically get ancestral uniques with it as well. So you're going to be getting basically the strongest gear you can get that is not uber uniques in the game as a reward, and those seem like weekly rewards. One of the other big things returning are actually vampiric powers.
Wow.
So vampire powers from Season 2 will be coming back in the form of actual legendary items. So these are the powers currently that will be coming back. You can see Kurt's Touch, Blood Boil, Hectic, Metamorphosis, Moonrise, and then Dying.
Metamorphosis is the space bar thing, so everyone's going to want that.
So not all of them.
And by the way, this is dude, I want to see how they implement this. I want to see, is this just another -1 gear slot? Again, every day, Diablo 4 is just moving closer to adding the Heraldric Cube from Diablo 3 because you don't even have item slots anymore. Mwah, beautiful.
No, your Hemomancy will not be coming back, but they're coming back in the form of just standard legendary affixes. These are not unique items like the Malignant Rings. These are just normal legendaries. You cannot put them in the codex from what I hear. They're not showing up there. They're just going to be affixes that you can acquire that you can slam onto gear. Here is an example of these legendary affixes so you can see sort of what they look like.
I don't see where they... Oh my god, so... Well, I mean, this is better, but the reality is this is stupid. This is so bad. You know why? Because... the reality is, with Uber Uniques becoming, not unique at all recently, the thing with this is it's just bad and dull and dumb, because you're already lacking item slots to fill. So you have, most classes are using the ring, so that's -1 slot, 100%, okay? Then they're probably using 1 unique already from their class, so that's minus another slot. And then they're probably trying to use Shaco and some kind of other rare Uber unique. So you already don't have any place to actually put in these things. This is the reason why I think the Sorcerer's got a whole build on one item. You know, the Meteor build. Yeah, I think the Sorcerer's got a whole build on just one item because there's no longer any space. And again, this is why I think we're going to have a Heraldric Cube.
Like, this had mixed reception in the chat. Some people were calling it lazy recycled content. I myself actually like bringing back previous things that people liked about the...
Well, I mean, it is lazy recycled content, especially if you're trying to sell it as a way, as a reason for people to come back. But, you know,
game. For instance, these affixes were something people did like about the game. This is part of what makes PoE great. You bring back seasonal mechanics and you slowly build overall everything that's in the game. So is it new content? No, but is it content people liked? Yes, it is. They talked about snapshotting, saying they're fixing some cases for it, and in general, they're moving towards completely removing it from the game. They just don't like it. Some bug changes, but...
Good. Snapshotting is dumb. I hate it in World of Warcraft. I hate it in every game that does it. Snapshotting is when you have a character that casts some kind of dot on an enemy that ticks down over it on 20 seconds. And you casted it while having some kind of empowering buffs that make you 500% stronger. When those buffs wear out, the dot that you put does not become weaker, and if you refresh the dot, it's gonna have the same damage when you that you applied when you were, you know, under all the buffs. I hate snapshotting.
But then also they mentioned here that the Gauntlet, once you're within the Gauntlet, you cannot change your skill tree, Paragon, etc. So there's not going to be like weird min-maxing of having to move your gear around and everything while you're in there. It's just going to be you enter with the build you want to use. There were a bunch of class updates as well. Barbarians getting some buffs, Druids getting some buffs, Sorcerers getting some buffs. Basically, the things that were lackluster, like Sorcerers, Incinerate, Druids,
okay, let's
with the build
actually
you
check.
want to use. There were
Barbarians, buffs, blah, blah, blah. Okay, stat CDR increased from wow. Armor increased, wow. Increased bonus, wow. Okay, so it's garbage.
Or a bunch of class updates as well. Barbarians getting some buffs, druids getting some buffs, sorcerers getting some buffs. Basically, the things that were lackluster.
Isn't Incinerate? Well, Incinerate shit, but the spot you get from Incinerate is kind of like big.
Like sorcerers, incinerate, druids, companions, for instance, barbarians, early game basic attacks, rogues, heartseeker, forceful arrow. The necro minions are actually getting a buff, and they mentioned movement speed for necromancer specifically was one of the things they
Oh wow, finally.
also mentioned here. So you can see minion buffs here, and then they talked about movement speed.
Damage increased by 20% baseline. Wow. That's not gonna change anything. You might as well nerf it by 20% and no one cares. Hellbent commander damage bonus increase from... Wow, no one still cares. Cult leader... No one cares. Your minions deal X increased physical damage for each active minion. At least this is, I mean, kind of useful, I guess.
A good deal for the Necromancer, so they're just kind of hitting on some key points that people have been talking about.
I mean, the Necromancer minions still absolutely suck completely, so changes like this don't mean anything, they don't accomplish anything. Again, like, these idiots at Diablo 4, fire them all. They're complete useless garbage that don't understand what's going on. You could ask ChatGPT to make Diablo 4 better and probably 100% will without exception. In fact, probably would make it a lot better, honestly, considering it's just scanning the internet. And every complaint about Diablo 4 is not unique at this point. We're just constantly saying and recycling the same things that we have said forever. And one of my biggest things is the fact that you need to make base skills good, okay? What's the point of buffing some kind of stupid 10-20% damage on a skill that no one likes to use because it's bad for AoE and it's bad for single target and everyone hates it? What's the point? Why can't we first start with making all the skills actually usable? Why can't we actually add more passives, interesting choices, okay? I don't know.
Before, they also mentioned there are no plans to be nerfing the Barbarian's charge, though there is some nerfs, small things like 5 to 10%.
God, that charge is so stupid if you're not playing the Barbarian.
Nerfs that are happening to the Seneschal pet before the launch of the Gauntlet in order just to try to keep it as stable as possible. They also mentioned there is a beefy stream incoming in order to talk about all of the changes that will be coming. One of the primary things that they mentioned during this was the addition of a PTR will be coming for Season 4. So that, if you don't know what that is, that's a public test room or a test server. This will be open to anybody who owns Diablo.
So essentially, Season 4 is... We're gonna know that Season 4 is trash before Season 4 even comes out. What a time to be alive.
4 on BattleNet on PC. So there will not be a PTR.
Oh, but they're implementing the PTR because they want to get feedback from players. Bro, if they wanted to get feedback from players, they could have done it for how long now? But they never do for some strange reason. So why do you think they will listen to the people in the PTR?
PTR for console, just to try to make it as streamlined as possible. It's on BattleNet only, so not Steam. BattleNet, Diablo 4 owners on PC will have access to the PTR. There will not be a private version of this. This is just something that the general public can access, and there's no NDA, anything like that. You can record, you can stream, you can do whatever you want with it. And the reason they're doing that is because
well, the word public access and NDA doesn't even mix together.
Say Season 4 is obviously the season of the itemization changes, and they want people to have access and feedback to that. Since it's such a big core part of the game, there's going to be a lot of changes. They want to have the PTR for that. The PTR will not be for every single patch and for every single season. It sounds like it's something they're going to be pulling out when it is more important type of information they're trying to dissect. Now, you're probably wondering when the Gauntlet's actually going to be launching. This will be launched...
Hopefully never. Hopefully they scrap the Gauntlet and add something that people actually give a shit about.
Next Tuesday. And in terms of difficulty, you might be noticing the monsters are level 124. They said they are scaling this akin to like a level 70.
Wait, next Tuesday? Next Tuesday is the 5th, isn't it? That's when Season of Discovery 100% XP buff launches. So they're killing the Gauntlet before they're even releasing it. Well played, Blizzard. I mean, what a time to be alive, to be Blizzard.
Dungeon, for instance, and the reason that they are doing this is they don't want this to be locked and gate kept to only people with like level 100 Nightmare Dungeons completed, gate kept with Uber Uniques and all these things. They want you to progress with the Gauntlet and be able to enter World Tier 4, get a little progress on your belt, and then go into the Gauntlet and see how you get better as throughout playing through the Gauntlet. That was their logic in terms of the difficulty not being like the absolute most pinnacle difficulty in the game, as that was one question that did arise. Really, the big win to take home out of this, because there is some changes. I don't think the balance changes were that big of a deal. Some stuff that isn't so good might be a little bit better now. Necromancers get some movements and some minion buff. Druids, maybe the companions are going to start doing something, and they're not nerfing the charge barb. But outside of that, I don't think the balance updates are really what people are looking for. What you guys are looking for is big additions to content, and that it will make you come back or not.
No, actually, I want balance changes. Again, I want them to actually make a game in the first place. I don't think a game can succeed if, you know, it's built on shit and then they're just adding sprinkles on top. I think you should just, you know, make an actual game that's not shit, and then you can try to add sprinkles on top. So, I'm kind of okay with patches, but the reality is these patches that they are doing is not gonna work. The Diablo devs are fully convinced at this point, in my opinion, that Diablo 4 is a great game from start to finish. They're just lacking some magical content. And when they finally add this magical content that everyone wants, everyone's gonna sing praises to them. Which is never happening, obviously.
To the game effectively. And so as it stands currently, I think the people who are going to be playing the Gauntlet are people that are already enjoying Diablo 4 and already in the game. I don't think there's going to be a lot of people that are going to log back.
So essentially, it's completely useless, he's saying. I mean, it's easy to predict. I'm not even going to test out the Gauntlet.
And to try out the Gauntlet, even though it seems all right. However, the big win, and the point that I'm trying to get to here, is that public test realm was something that was originally not planned, that was asked by the general public, and the consensus seems to be a PTR would be a good idea. So things like the itemization changes to you, the person watching this, can be tested, and your opinion can be given back to the company as these changes are being implemented. This will hopefully help these launches of things like Season 3 launches, stopping from being as blindly uninteresting as Season 3 was on the launch, for instance. So actually have that feedback before this.
I'm sorry, but it's not like Season 3 is currently interesting anyway.
Seasons actually come out, etc. I think that's what Season 4 PTR is supposed to do. I think the Season 4 itemization changes are well understood to be critically important for the...
Also, people told me Todd Ferguson is the same guy that killed Halo in the first place. Or he completely butchered 2 other games, and now he's here at Diablo, failing 20 times in a row and not getting fired. Dude, is every developer just some kind of ineptitude baby or something like that? Because it kind of seems so, doesn't it? It's only in game development it seems like you can fail 20 times in a row and someone's patting you on the back and saying, 21st time's the charm, champ. I don't understand it. In any other job, you get fired for being such an incomprehensible twat. Without game development, no. For some reason, not game development.
Health of the game, and I think they want that feedback from all players like yourself listening to this to be able to be heard, and they probably need the data to understand how good the itemization is going to be and to avoid bugs and balance issues and all of these things. So PTR will be coming. I don't think we got a date on exactly when that PTR will be open, but it will.
Man, it's like, what? Who's gonna play the PTR? I wonder who's gonna play the PTR. Because when you do things like PTRs for games like Diablo 4, where only the most stringent hardcore fans are left, Well, they're gonna always say that your game is top of the notch, amazing, 10 out of 10, how could it even be better? And everyone who says it's bad is just taking crazy pills. So, it will the PTR just not absolutely destroy it, technically? I mean, not that there's much to destroy at this point. The vaults were actually good dungeon design, as crazy as that seems, even though I think they were like a dreary, depressing mess. But at least they were straightforward, they were windy enough, and the monster density was good. And it also had this crazy thing where monsters were not placed one on each other, you know, like 20 monsters in one pixel, unlike normal dungeons and open areas in the game. So, I think the moment vaults go away with Season 3, dungeons are gonna suck again so hard. Because vaults made me understood one thing. So there was this huge debacle about vaults, and why did not the developers make vault rewards bigger? And that was the thing. And that actually shocked me that people are thinking, wait, why would they? Because you already accepted the like shit rewards that you get for a normal dungeon. Why would the vault dungeon reward be honestly bigger? And then it hit me. No one actually accepted dungeons in the first place. I personally, when I was playing Diablo 4 in Season 2, I just never did vaults, because not vaults, but dungeons, because they were just so sad, pathetic, and trash. I just did things above the world, okay? That's all I did. And then it hit me. They never actually fixed dungeons, and people never really liked dungeons. People just gave up on dungeons ever being good and just did different things because they're just so sad and bad. Like, every dungeon is like this stupid small corridor that you have no freedom in and you're almost claustrophobic. And then at some point, for no reason, it just splits into 3 or 4 or 5 different pacts, which half of them lead into a dead end, and no one wants to deal with that garbage. And then the reward is like, shit. I don't know, man. Diablo 4, it's like, are we just completely dropping all hopes for it? I don't know. Kinda, probably, at this point. Anyway, that was our boy DM Skills, Microtransactions TV. Anyway, this was Quizzer and thanks for watching. Subscribe if you haven't already, and have a nice day. Bye-bye.